Hi everybody, it's Kanesha from boldlivingtoday.com. If you're new, welcome, and if you've been a bold thinker, welcome back. So glad to have you here. So I've been talking about productivity as we go into 2019, and as I mentioned in the previous video, I did a great workshop for a group of women on how to get your beep done, your SHIT, your stuff done. And so I've been talking about mapping that out and what that means. So in the previous video, we talked about the S, how to set up the right systems for productivity. And today I want to talk about the hierarchy of tasks. So you are setting up systems, and then how do you decide how to complete those tasks? So the interesting thing for me when I work, I really like to focus on my energy at different times of day. So I really have a lot of good energy when I first wake up, before my day gets started with my family, before I have a big onslaught of appointments to attend to, calls to make, copy to edit, curriculum to design, and all those different things. So I like to allow myself enough morning time to wake up, to feel fueled, and to focus on something that's really exciting for me, but it also takes a lot of diligent work. So I have shaped my schedule to get up a little bit earlier than everyone else in my household, so I'll have that quiet time. Now, I am not a natural morning person. I've only become more of a morning person since I became a mother way back when in 1999. And one of the things we were talking about at the workshop was, if I'm not a morning person, but I'm trying to use that time to really be diligent about my work, to focus on it, and to have a strong hierarchy of tasks, how do I do that? And I said, sometimes you only really need one good morning to be a morning person. You don't have to be a morning person 5 days, 3 days, 7 days a week. You can decide how many days you want to do that and really try that out for, let's say, 21 days, or maybe just start with 5 days and see how that goes. But when people say they're morning people, it doesn't mean that you have to be a morning person every day. You get to decide, especially when you're applying that technique or that procedure or that space to hierarchy of tasks. So that's one thing we discussed. When we were really looking at our task list and what to do and how to design them and how to set up what we're going to do for any particular period of time, whether that be in a 24-hour period or bookend office hours, or a particular week or a particular quarter or semester sometimes, because we had some people who were working in academia and some students attending. I said you really need to list everything that you need to do, everything that needs to be tended to by you, everything that you think might come across your desk, come across your space, come across things that you're interacting with during the day. And then once you write down all those things you possibly are doing in a particular day, particular week, then you need to color code them by the different categories. So maybe something deals with a particular project, or something deals with your children, or something deals with some philanthropy. Whatever the categories are for your life, you need to color code that list. For me, I would say my top categories would be family, it would be work, it would be volunteerism, and then it would be me time, personal time. And I might do an extra one for wellness too. And so once you have the big list, and then you're color coding the different categories that you come up with yourself, you need to see which areas are taking up the most space. Is it more work than anything else? Is it more wellness than anything else? More project time, more philanthropy, whatever it is for your life. And you get to see that by the color codes. One person said they don't like the color code thing, so we just said put a little dash of color so you didn't have the whole thing highlighted. That's one way to do it. Another thing is to write the different tasks in different color pens if you don't like to highlight it. So it doesn't have to be one way, but you want to be able to visually see the different categories. And then after that, you need to look at which activities in the groups in the different categories, how much time do you actually think it takes to execute, to complete those things, and then you need to add 10 to 15 more minutes to that, because a lot of times we underestimate how much time it's going to take us to complete something and how to do it and get it done. And then after you do all that, then you need to look at the actual time you have in front of you. Is it a work day? Is it 8 to 10 hours? Is it 24 hours? Is it a week's time? And then you map those tasks on your calendar in hierarchy of importance, in hierarchy of deadline, in hierarchy of your energy. So I showed the participants a chart and how to do that. And it was really fun to map that out. And I'm going to be having a additional workshop on that, because it's such a fun tool to use, but it also takes a little bit more explanation than what we're going to do in this video. But really taking the time to look at all the things you have to do, categorize them, and then have the hierarchy, and then map them into your day or to your week, to your month, whatever the time is. And a lot of times people say, I don't have enough time to do that. Well, here's the thing. If you have this ongoing list of tasks, and then you're mapping them onto the big long list, categorizing them, and then mapping them until the actual time you have, after a while, you don't have to repeat the entire process. It becomes a habit of understanding how your time works, of understanding how your energy works, and understanding how your days and space work. So you'll have more of a streamlined process for doing hierarchy of tasks when you're planning your days, your weeks, your months, your quarters, and things like that. So anytime we're trying to establish a new habit or a new way of doing it, we need to give ourselves the time and space to deliver, or to deliver to ourselves, but to develop that skill. So it's not going to be an overnight thing. It's going to be something you have to customize and to tweak, and really to spend some time in understanding how it works for you. But it's a fun process because you can lend your creativity to it. You can work with it with your partner if you are working with an assistant, for example, or if you have a team member that you all are executing a project together, or if you are a supervisor and you have an entire team. This is a mapping process that you all could potentially do together to make sure that you all have the right cross-pollination for different projects, and making sure that the right energy, right strengths, and right expertise are going into the right areas. So if you're interested in learning more about this mapping process, you can find out information on boldlivingtoday.com, and also in the Bold store, coaching and crafting.com. And also, I'll have some information in the video notes, and you can learn more about our productivity series on Kanesha Baynard Coaching on Facebook, and then also on Twitter and Instagram at Kanesha Baynard. And, if you have a productivity question, please shoot it to us, and we'll take a look at it and see if we can answer it, provide any tools. And there's always information in our newsletter, so make sure you're subscribed to that. And let me know how this process goes. And another thing is, when you take time to map it out, it'll slow you down, so you're not just trying to add everything to your task list. So give it a try, hierarchy of tasks, see how it goes for you, and see if it supports your productivity for going forward in January and throughout the rest of the months of 2019.